What is going on, guys? Smooth Racing here, back with a brand new video, and today we've got our F1 2014 Brazilian Grand Prix review. This was the 18th round of the FIA F1 2014 season, the penultimate round of what has been a thrilling season and this race. Furthermore, as we already know, does confirm that we will be going down to Abu Dhabi to decide the championship. Will it be Nico Rosberg or Lewis Hamilton? We will be discussing that over the next week, of course, leading up to Abu Dhabi, which is just 13 days away. But let's focus on today's Grand Prix then, the Brazilian Grand Prix. Now, for me, it was a really good Grand Prix. We got to see a brilliant drive from Rosberg, kind of, I think proving to a lot of people that if he did win in Abu Dhabi and won the championship, he would be a very deserved champion in my eyes. I already knew that, but I think this just really confirms that Rosberg is a great driver. And yes, definitely you have to agree, Hamilton does have the superior pace. We saw when Hamilton was in free air in this race today, how much quicker he could go than Rosberg. But Rosberg, after he made that successful third stint, I think he really had it in the bag. After he saw Hamilton made a mistake, he did some really good job defending, really pulling away in sector 2, and of course with the aid of DRS, Hamilton pulling it back in sector 1 and sector 3. But a fantastic job then from Rosberg to win the race. Hamilton then second with 1.4 seconds behind him. Then Felipe Massa then third place. What a drive from him to score a podium then in his home race. This is only his second podium of the season, so very much needed for his overall confidence. And just to look back at this 2014 season, it's great to see that Massa has got another podium on the board, especially considering all the podiums his teammate Valtteri Bottas has got in this season, who actually finished down in 10th, having a torrid race, started 4th. Had a loose seatbelt or something he really couldn't confirm at the time, but we do believe it was a faulty seatbelt of some sort, which he had to lose quite a few seconds during the stop. And then he had further bad luck, as I believe it was Nico Hülkenberg with a bit of a dive bomb. I think I've got a few pictures in this review. You've got to probably wait for them, or they might have already been. But it's pretty easy to spot because, quite a dramatic lunge there from Hülkenberg. But nonetheless, it was a great job from Hülkenberg to get 8th place in a really struggling Force India. He really did outperform, definitely one of the, the unsung heroes, and so nearly managed to close down Raikkonen and pass him. He did manage to close him down, but he didn't manage to pass him. Just 2/10 between them over the line. I believe he gained about 2 seconds on the final lap. But Raikkonen doing a solid job. Had Raikkonen not had some bad luck in the pit stops, you'll probably see quite a strange picture where his front right tyre, I believe, is quite skew with, and I think that's because he was dropped by the jack. Quite a fault I think we have seen before from Ferrari. And talking of pit stop calamities, then of course Felipe Massa, first of all speeding in the pit lane, getting a 5-second stop go penalty. Then on the next stop, he went into the McLaren garage. The stop after that, he went to the McLaren garage. Of course, didn't serve him. He went straight on into his Williams garage. I think he was probably confused because for some reason or other the Williams garage was moved forward, like up the grid. Of course, usually it would have been found after Toro Rosso, but now it was found before Toro Rosso and Force India and Samba. It's quite strange, and no wonder Massa did it. People have done it. Hamilton did it in I think Malaysia 2013 when he thought he was going back to the McLaren. It always seems to be McLaren. I'm not sure why, but maybe it's something to do with their livery being quite similar to others. That kind of white and silver livery is quite common in Formula 1, especially in 2014. Sebastian Vettel, sorry my voice got a bit. Sebastian Vettel then coming home in 5th place, then right behind Jenson Button. Him and the Ferraris had quite a good scrap. Vettel just played the waiting game, a really cool and calm race from Vettel. I thought this was quite a solid drive in what is his penultimate race with Red Bull Racing, and of course his final race will be in Abu Dhabi. Fernando Alonso, a pretty average race from him, and wasn't too pleased with Alonso's race. Possibly Raikkonen, had he not had that pit stop error, probably would have finished ahead of Alonso. So kind of a disappointing race for Alonso, but of course still comes home with 8 points. And of course I do believe he does overtake Bottas, or at least close in on Bottas in the driver standings. But an amazing drive to come home in 4th. That guy needs to be in Formula 1 next year. McLaren having a really good car once again. I believe like we saw, was it in Sochi, where they were really good, really kind of a repeat of that. Some great points haul from McLaren, of course, in the A to catch Ferrari, which I can't really see happening, but it's a distant dream. Maybe with double points, something extreme happening. You never know, McLaren could jump them. But that's pretty much then. I've talked about everyone in the points. Let's talk about the people outside the points. Well, Danny Fiat, a fairly average race from Toro Rosso. Their race pace obviously wasn't very good. We didn't see much from them. I think Fiat and Verne had a battle. Fiat actually came out on top of that. Maldonado came home in 12th. Pretty average race from him. I believe he was running behind his teammate until he had a retirement. And Daniel Ricciardo had a really disappointing race. He retired with a suspension failure. He was right behind Sebastian Vettel, so possibly could have got 4th, 5th, 6th in this race. Who really knows? Still came 16th. A really disappointing pit stop, basically set him back about 10-20 seconds, and of course starting from the pit lane didn't help either. So dismal race for Samba, as Gutierrez was running in the points, but just, kind of probably just didn't have the pace. Slipped behind the Toro Rossos and the Lotuses, and ended up in 14th, with Perez in 15th, while his teammate in 8th isn't very good from him, but of course he did start 18th, so it's probably understandable. But anyway, then, that has been my review of the F1 2014 Brazilian Grand Prix for each driver. Driver of the day is really difficult. There was no really standout performances for me, really. There were kind of, a few kind of level, but not really one standalone kind of, easy to say that that's definitely the best person. But I'm probably going to go with Nico Rosberg, just for a calm, cool measured drive to keep Lewis Hamilton behind, who did make a mistake. And if Hamilton would have overtaken Rosberg, not making that mistake, then he'd probably been driver of the day. But I would have to say Rosberg just edges it. Massa did a great job, but of course that penalty is his fault, so I can't really give that. Maybe Jensen Button 4th. I'll tell you what, I'll give it to Button for a brilliant job to get 4th for McLaren, with Hulkenberg a close second, joint with Nico Rosberg. But anyway, let me know down in the comment section below who was your driver of the day, and my race rating would probably be a 5 out of 10, because mainly we saw the difference between the soft and the medium compound. The main factor, we basically saw a load of medium runners passing people who were staying out on old mediums or old softs, so the racing wasn't that good, but still a pretty good race overall. I give it a 5. Remember, my ratings are probably quite harsher than yours, 1 being a bad race where most people never seem to go below 4. I'd say Russia was 4, and then this was just slightly better than Russia, but considering what we've seen from previous Brazilian Grand Prix, this was a bit of a disappointment, but not too bad, and of course vital for the championship. I really did enjoy this race, even if it wasn't the best, and overall I did have a really good vibe throughout this race, and looking forward to Abu Dhabi. Will it be Rosberg? Will it be Hamilton? Let me know down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.